I had just turned 40 years old. I was in the best health of my life. I was physically fit. I had 2 young children at the age of 5 and 10, had just celebrated a wonderful, fabulous birthday party with my closest friends and family. And, at the age of 40, they recommend that you go in for a mammogram. That's exactly what I did. It was my annual well woman exam. My doctor ordered my very first mammogram. I received a call saying that it was inconclusive and they wanted me to come back for an ultrasound and a diagnostic mammogram. So I returned, had the ultrasound, the diagnostic mammogram, and it was inconclusive as well. Subsequently, I went in for a biopsy, and the biopsy confirmed that I had been diagnosed with BRCA negative, HER2 positive, ductile carcinoma in situ. I ultimately had to undergo a bilateral mastectomy with reconstruction. And so what that entails is them taking tissue from your abdomen and creating your breasts. It was a brutal, approximately 10-hour surgery that occurred where I essentially had 2 surgeries in one. So the recovery time was definitely difficult. It was a long 6-week journey. I was immobile. I did not have the ability to utilize my abdominal muscles to lift myself up. I couldn't shower. I had JP drains that were attached, here and in my abdomen that made it very challenging to move around. It was very painful. And fortunately, because I was stage 0, I was fortunate to not have to go through radiation or chemo. That is the true importance of early detection. But the experience for me was very emotionally and physically challenging. It was a lot for my family because I completely depended upon them to help support me during that time. Having 2 young children and having to experience this was difficult for me as a mother, to have to try to explain to them what was going on, what they were watching me go through. I am the poster child for early detection. I would say that any survivor having to go through something such as breast cancer, it takes a toll on you mentally. So, I was depressed, I gained weight. So how I tried to come out of that was, number 1, counseling, a lot of prayer, a lot of faith in God, but also physical exercise, eating better, just taking better care of yourself. I had no family history of breast cancer. It was uncharted territory for all of us. We had not experienced anything like that in my family. One of the things that you're not prepared for as a woman is how going through something like breast cancer will affect you for the rest of your life. So, a lot of your nerves have been removed, and so you feel very different as a woman having your breasts removed. It's such a large part of who we are. My husband was my caretaker. He gave me showers, he changed my bandages. So it's super important as a survivor to have someone there to support you through that. I can only imagine what women who have had to undergo chemo and radiation had to deal with, as a result of this horrible diagnosis. Breast cancer has been one of those things that has put so much in perspective, particularly moments that you have with your family, with your children. You learn to be present in the moment. You learn to focus on the little things because it's the little things that matter. And I say that meaning the time with your family, the time with your friends, experiences, vacations, all those things that we just kind of typically go through the motions of. You become more present in those moments because you value them that much more. When I went into that second surgery, I was in there by myself because at that time, none of the hospitals were allowing you to bring any visitors or any guests along. So I had to go through that entire surgery process, recovery, being in the room alone, just me, the doctors and the nurses, whereas the first time when I was about to go into surgery, I had all my loved ones surrounding me. But this was one of those times where I was about to go into this major surgery and there was no one there to hold my hand as they rolled me away. And so I think that it's important as women, we find a provider that understands how something like this, a diagnosis like this, affects not just you, but also your family and what they have to deal with and go through. And having an opportunity to ask questions, to get your questions answered and not feel like any question that you're asking is dumb, or because this is something that changes your whole entire life. And so my healthcare providers play such a huge role in helping me feel comfortable, in helping me get through this difficult diagnosis, recommending counseling, reading, giving literature, providing any type of education that I needed in order to help me make decisions for myself, for my body, and for my family. What I can say is that as a survivor, and I think any survivor would tell you this, that it is a lifelong journey to understand who you are now post this diagnosis. And so I would say one of the things that has been a major challenge for me is the continual everyday reminder that I'm a survivor. You know, every time you look in the mirror, you see your scars. It's a constant reminder of what you've been through. And so what I can say is that for me, that daily reminder of knowing that this is something that I've been through, but also having, at the same time, having gratitude of knowing that I was one of the fortunate ones. I'm one of the blessed ones. I'm one of the ones that, because of early detection, I was able to catch it early enough where I didn't have to go through those things. But I do feel as though it is a constant journey, a day-to-day journey. I think that meditation, prayer, exercise, daily affirmations, all of those things are helpful. Having breast cancer is, or was for me, an awakening. It was something that made me realize that some of the things that I used to stress over and worry over and agonize over weren't important. You have a different perspective. I definitely have a different perspective of things as they happen. You know, we all, get a flat tire, or, I remember, being so upset about the smallest little things that would happen to me on a day-to-day basis. And now I don't get upset like I used to. It definitely gives you perspective and helps you understand that sometimes things just happen and, oh, well, you just pick up and, you kind of move on. But it definitely gives you a different outlook on how you respond to certain situations in life. Early detection, get your annual mammograms. Do not wait. Get them every year on time. Genetic testing. Genetic testing is important to understand your BRCA status. Do you carry the BRCA mutation? Ask your doctor for the genetic testing. Self-breast exams. On the 1st of every month, ensure that you are checking your breasts for any changes, any anomalies. As well, Also, if you see any changes in your body, if you notice any changes in your body that don't seem right, definitely get it checked out. And more importantly, talk to your health care provider about anything that you think seems strange, seems weird, but get your regular checkups. And also, most importantly, I believe that what saved my life was the fact that I had a 3D mammogram. Request a 3D mammogram. That is very important. As I mentioned earlier, I did not have to undergo chemotherapy and or radiation. So I didn't have any financial support or otherwise during my breast cancer journey. But post my mastectomy and my surgery, I have definitely partnered with several organizations in the community, including starting my own clothing line. I have, through my company, have partnered with other organizations such as Survive Her, Pink Legacy 50/50, and Angels Surviving to help raise funds and awareness for breast cancer, especially as it relates to Black women and women who are underserved or who do not have the means or the funds to get all of the treatments and the care they need to get through their breast cancer journey.